We hope his story gives hope to other parents of premature babies and parents of children with autism. Those are the words of Dr. David Dobson, who has a non-verbal autistic son and documents their life and successes and fun on a YouTube channel called Positive Emotions. He's also an associate professor of the University of the Fraser Valley and joins us now to discuss his family, because this week is Neurodiversity Celebration Week. And you could just let that title this week pass you by, or we could really take a look into a family and see what their life is like. So joining us to discuss, sharing a little insight into their world, welcome to the show, Dr. Dobson.
Good morning, Sarah. Happy to be on your show.
I love that you're joining us, because I was watching your videos of you and your son feeling winter rain on your face, eating Indian food, going down a slide, and celebrating these little moments. Seems so simple, but so beautiful at the same time. Your story starts back when he was just a baby. Tell us about your son.
Samuel is a preemie baby. He was born against all odds at only 26 weeks, but he grows stronger and bigger. He came home after 4 long periods in the hospital to enjoy and celebrate him every day. And he's a non-speaking autistic boy. So he uses his iPad, the app called TouchChat, to communicate. And you mentioned about our videos. So Samuel and I, we enjoy nature walks. So we go to nature walk, and there we record our short videos, kind of fun videos, and Samuel enjoy being on those videos, and he allows me to make those poses as well. And he also like watching those videos as videos too. Yeah.
You said one of the reasons you share your life on YouTube is because you think people feel sorry for you, and you want them to know that there is joy and happiness in your family, but there is a disconnect with people understanding what your family life is like.
People feel sorry because they see autism as a problem, but for us, we don't see autism as a problem. We see Samuel as he is, and we accept him as he is, and we celebrate him as he is. So we don't want people to feel sorry. We want to accept Samuel as he is. So through my YouTube channel and through my post, I say, this is what Samuel is, and he's a joy to us, and we accept him as he is, and he's no different than any other kids. So instead of people feeling sorry, we want people to accept Samuel as he is, and enjoy his views, his company, and his differences.
Over the years of Samuel's life, have you seen your family, your community, the world become more understanding and accepting and interested in children and people who are on the autism spectrum? Or are we just not there yet?
I mean, there's a lot of autism awareness, but I think the biggest issue is autism acceptance. So, like for immediate families and friends, they know Samuel. So obviously, people who still may not accept autism, they're probably aware of autism. So, for example, autistic kids, they stamp, they flap their hands, they vocalize. So a lot of people, they for them it's like unusual thing. So they probably, stare at the child, stare at my child, for example, or sometimes show impatience. So those are the areas which I think that need acceptance. People who know Samuel, for example, his peers, his schools, his teachers, families and friends, they accept Samuel as he is, and they enjoy his company. For us, it's any other normal day. But for the broader public, like this, I think obviously, they need to go on acceptance part and create more understanding and let this artistic kid stand and slap their hands and vocalize them, and not to suppress their autism. So there's a fix for neurodivergent people. We have to start accepting them exactly as they are.
I love the difference between awareness and acceptance. We're talking right now to Dr. David Dobson, who has a nonverbal autistic son. They share their life, their little moments, their travels, their adventures on a YouTube channel called Positive Emotions. And it is Neurodiversity Celebration Week. And instead of just letting this week go by, I thought let's really look and learn about what it's like to have an autistic family member, a friend, someone in our lives. We're going to take a short break, take a quick road check. We'll be right back to learn more about the Dobson life. Welcome back to the QR Calgary Morning Show. My name is Sarah Crosbie. Back with Dr. David Dobson, who makes really lovely and fun and insightful videos with his son on a YouTube channel called Positive Emotions. Now, Samuel is nonverbal and autistic, and together they feel rain on their faces, they taste Indian food, they go down slides, and they show what life is like when one family member has autism, and not to be afraid, not to shun, but to embrace. And Dr. David Dobson, also with the University of Fraser Valley. So my question for you is, you're the researcher, you're the professor, you're the teacher, but what has having Samuel as your son taught you for the years of your life?
Yeah, Samuel is my greatest teacher, and I'm still learning from him. Keep me grounded, teach me patience, teach me love, and being a better human being. And Samuel is a great joy to me and my wife. And yeah, we just love him, and we celebrate him. He makes life meaningful for us.
Can you give us one little example, something concrete of how he sees the world in a different way, or appreciates love in a different way? Something where he maybe isn't speaking to me, but I hear him.
So Samuel, because Samuel is not speaking, but he's very funny. So he uses his communication device, TouchChat. He uses iPad to communicate with us. So, for example, sometimes my wife and I are talking about among ourselves, for example, what to order for dinner. And while our son, he's in his iPad, we try to give his iPad with him, the TouchChat, so he can use it and communicate. So our son chimed in with his device and said, "Eat chow mein noodles." That's his favorite food. And it really warmed our heart because it was a great reminder that how non-speaking doesn't mean that he's not thinking, and he has his own opinion what to order, and especially when it comes to food and takeout. So he's observant and very involved. Because he's not talking doesn't mean that he's not involved. Mm-hmm. And if I can tell you another his story of his sense of humor. So other day at school, his teacher gave him a single potato chip, hoping he would use his device to ask for more, because they tried to teach him some communication skills. However, what the teacher did not expect was this. My son took that chip, and on his device, he said, "Thank you, Jesus, for this food." And he looked up with a big smile, and the whole room burst into laughter. By saying grace over single potato chips, he showed everyone that he understands the irony and timing, and turned this simple classroom exercise into a moment of joy.
And some brilliance, because the brain pattern of, oh, you think I'm going to ask for more? No, I'm going to appreciate the one chip I was given and be thankful for all I already have.
Samuel is full of stories, actually. That's why it's so fun to be around him. And I was struggling to replace a light bulb in our home, and even with my wife's help, we couldn't get the glass dome on straight. So frustrated, I just gave up and left it hanging unevenly. But Samuel he was also watching, doing this thing. So basically, he was not watching; he was also observing it and evaluating it. So when I left it unattended, I think, okay, this is good enough. He used his TouchChat and he typed sloppy. So my wife and I burst into laughter, and then of course I have to go back and fix that sloppy light fixer.
These are the stories I love because when the calendar this week said it was Neurodiversity Celebration Week, I thought, how do we recognize that and understand it? And if you are someone who has a premature baby, or you are a parent with a child with autism, Dr. David Dobson and his son Samuel have a YouTube account called Positive Emotions that they share all of these little bright, brilliant moments with us. And I learned from you, Dr. Dobson, that when it comes to autism, there is autism awareness, and then there is autism acceptance. And they are different things as we move forward when we try to make sure people feel included and understood at the same time.
Yeah. And of course, you can follow our journey on YouTube at Positive Emotion. Just search for handle at positive_emotions to find our nature walks and stories. And we share these videos to explain and celebrate autism from Samuel's perspective.
I really, really appreciate you letting us have a little look into your life. And I will remember that potato chip story for a long, long time. Dr. David Dobson is also with the University of the Fraser Valley. And again, you can find their stories, their walks, their joy, their understanding on YouTube, Positive Emotions. Thank you for joining us today. I really, really love that you let us have a look and a little learning about Samuel.
Thank you, Sarah.